Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States, looking around the globe in 143 different nations, looking for what we call the 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products that can be used to carry us through the 21st century. Addressing the severe images and needs of climate change as water, fuel, healthcare, education, all the basic needs that we have for society that has now moved beyond 7 billion souls on this planet. But as we move through the 21st century, we're looking again for the technologies and the people that are going to actually to enhance the standard of living, the quality of life, instead of just maintaining, as many people say that we'll see as we go in the latter years of the 21st century. One of the exciting events that is happening every 2 years in the United States and open to world competition is what's called the Solar Decathlon. I have beside me Richard King, who is the Director of the United States Department of Energy, and doing absolutely a fantastic job. And Richard, it was really a great opportunity to come down and spend a couple days walking around all the different 20 homes that were constructed and showing all the new technologies that's going to really take us over the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, we were glad you came. We were there to demonstrate to everybody how you can live clean with solar energy and energy-efficient housing.
Well, one of the things I thought was really interesting because many people, I told them about this, and they said, well, where do they have the models? And they were thinking about, something that's on, a little board in a room somewhere. And I said, no, they have to go in and build a real house, and then it must function, and also they're in a competition.
Yes, the Solar Decathlon is a very competitive design competition, not just to, put it on paper, but they've got to build a 1,000 square foot house, bring it to Washington, D.C., and we put 20 houses up so that people can actually go in them and see them. So it's a real hands-on demonstration.
Yeah, well, these slides will attest to this, and these were some really fantastic weather events were going on. And I want to say that these pictures were provided by the Department of Energy. These were not some that I took, but these are phenomenal. And the rainbow, and then, of course, the clouds after the severe rain you have. And I was just amazed that you were able to keep functioning with all the rain that was going on during that time. But tell us about the Solar Decathlon Park. What are we actually looking at here, and how did that relate, one, to the universities competing and the general public that was coming to have the experience of these homes?
Well, what you're looking at is West Potomac Park on the National Mall. It's on the west side of the tidal basin and just the east side of the Potomac River. It was really a nice spot. We had about 7 acres, and we put 19 houses, in a little village, a solar village. These are all solar powered. They are not using any fossil fuels of any kind, and they're very energy efficient because the contest is to see who can build the best house, best looking house, best performing house in a 10-day contest.
Well, and I know you were actually doing the assessments of these houses in real time, and so it was really interesting. Go house to house, could you see, what was the kilowatts per hour being produced by each house, and what was the usage, and then the people that are managing each of these houses, like the ones that we're going to be demonstrating here, the top 3, and how they were actually utilizing, the solar power to actually, to operate these houses. So it was really a great demonstration. And I noticed right here you have Secretary Chu speaking, and who's this guy over here raising his hands in the air? Some kind of photograph or something. Who is this guy?
Yes, well, Secretary Chu came and gave the awards out to the teams, and we were delighted to have him there. And later that night, all the team leaders of the 19 universities gave me an autographed photograph of all the teams. We had an all-team photo, and so on stage when they did that, I just raised it up over my head
Well, I just think it's fantastic, Richard. And I tell you, one of the things that really attracted me to all this, I started talking with your staff and all that, and then I was trying to chase you around the mall to find you to talk with you, is just the enthusiasm, the energy, but just the real care and concern that you gave to every participant in this. That's really admirable as far as how you did that, and then to keep all these people together and keep them working hard throughout the 10 days. It's just amazing.
It's actually easy because they're so passionate about what they're doing. They are totally interested and consumed in this 2-year endeavor to design a house, build it while you're taking classes in college, and then coming here to demonstrate. They really wanted to tell their story. How do you build a house and how do you live sustainably? And the students were just wonderful.
Well, and the whole thing about it that people don't realize, this really is a 2-year process. So it's a real commitment when you're doing this.
Yes.
And when you're trying to balance everything that you have back on campus, and then you're really trying to find the very best technologies. And I know in some of these houses, we're going to be interviewing some of the faculty members and the students involved in this. They're actually inventing technologies to be used in this, so they're really going beyond the horizon in some of the activities and the technologies and products they're using.
Yeah, wouldn't you love to have a clean sheet of paper and just bring that creativity to bear and take everything that we know in these universities and design from scratch the best house you can that's sustainable, that we need for the future.
Well, looking at, you had Team Canada, you had the Belgians, the Chinese, Team China, which we actually had on a earlier broadcast, and then New Zealand, which we're going to have on here. So having this as an international competition, I really think it benefits not only those nations and the United States, but it really benefits the globe because you demonstrated this is not just theory, you can actually do it.
Yes, yeah, these are real working houses. That the proof is in the pudding. They have to demonstrate it. They have to prove that this really works.
And we'll see some of the enthusiasm. But looking at this, I know you're showing demonstrations here of some of the advanced technologies that are developed in the United States and around the globe. Why are you putting up these displays when you have all these homes there that are actually, really employing and developing the technology?
Well, we're just adding to it, so that when people come, they ask a lot of questions. And we put up a display of lights so you could turn them on really easy and side by side see what an incandescent bulb was like, a CFL compact fluorescent bulb, and then a new LED light. And you can see the amount of energy that each takes and how much money you'd save by getting more efficient.
Now, I know this one demonstration here is all about the insulation and energy efficiency of, tightly insulated homes. Now, this is something I thought was very interesting, where you were actually demonstrating some of the more advanced technologies and products that are available, and you can go up just like this young child. That's why I really like this photograph. You can go up and touch it. It's almost like kicking the tires on a new car.
That's right. Yeah. It's all about education, and it starts from a 5-year-old on up to college students and even homeowners. This is new technology, and everybody needs to learn about it and just how easily it works. And kicking the tires is just what you need to do.
Yeah, because if people don't see it, the whole thing, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but, this is almost like having 10,000 words. and just looking at these homes, I mean, this is just really a beautiful area. So cosmetically, the whole thing just seemed to fit together very nicely, and that just doesn't, occur by happen chance. It really needs to be well planned. Tell us about these two homes that we're looking at and why they're important.
Let's see.
One is Purdue University, and the other, I think, was related to the Habitat for Humanity. If we can bring these two photographs up here, we can see it. There we go.
Yeah, the one on my right is from Parsons Stevens, and that house is staying in Washington, D.C. It was built in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity, and that university team is giving their house to a low-income family in Ward 7 in Washington, D.C. So that was a really nice demonstration of how you can work together.
Which we're actually conducting green jobs training programs in both Ward 7 and 8 in Washington, D.C. through EmeraldPlanet and 9 other nonprofits. So we really like that idea. And then the one from Purdue University looking out over your campus there in the mall is just really a beautiful scene. But this is some of the excitement. I mean, this could be a football or a basketball game or something. I mean, the excitement that the students exhibited throughout this. And I must say the faculty, actually, I think they were even more excited than the students that were involved.
Senator Menendez is a champion of the solar decathlon, and all the teams wanted to give him some kind of reward for his, support over the past 2 years. And so he invited us up to the Capitol Visitor Center on, Capitol Hill. So we decided that, well, let's give out our architecture awards on that day while we're up there with Senator Menendez. So, the teams got a special treat to go to Capitol Hill. And as you see, the team that you're going to talk to here very soon is University of Maryland, who won Best Architecture.
Yeah, and it's just absolutely amazing. But the enthusiasm, I think this is something that carries forward. And then to have the school children involved in this at a very early age, again, making this very real, allowing them to come out and touch and see, and in some cases smell and kick and just participate. And, this is just a fabulous way for them to really learn about the technology. We're going to leave this up because we only have just about a minute or so left. Looking at the decathlon, one, why call it Solar Decathlon? And then what do you see for the future, Richard?
The decathlon gets its name from 10 contests. So if you're going to build a house, how do you evaluate it side by side to pick who's got the best? Not only the best looking one, but also the best performing. So we came up with 10 ways, and hence the decathlon. So we put juries through them to judge them for architecture, engineering, curb appeal, as well as communications. And we assess them for affordability. They all needed to be $250,000 US or less to get their 100 points. So you got 10 contests, 100 points. And then we measure them for performance. So they've got to cook, wash clothes, light their space, heat and cool the house, and we divide that.
This is a real working house.
It is, yes. And so by the end of the contest, you've thoroughly evaluated which ones perform well. They can take that solar energy and turn it into useful work, as well as, it's kind of a beauty contest as well as a very professional design contest.
Well, I know that they're using various colleges within the university, so they have the School of Business and Communications.
That's right.
I only have about 10 seconds left. 10 seconds. What do you want to leave with our viewers?
Well, the students are just so overwhelmingly bright and enthusiastic. It was a wonderful experience.
And Richard, thank you for your energy and everything that you're doing. Thank you for being with us on the Emerald Planet.
My pleasure.
This is firstgov.gov, where we're obsessed with getting you government information.
Brand new student loan applications on the site, baby. This calls for a celebration. Here's your uncle.
So in the end, it was either take the astronaut gig or come work here. What can I say? Duty called.
Dude, that's my cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's Sam's cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Sam's. No.
Just log on or email us and get what you need.
C, change of address form. That's how it's done.
D, driver's license renewal.
E, emailing Social Security information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, we'll allow it. All right, Ed.
What are those? Government surplus cars for auction.
You posted those online last time.
No, you did.
I'm posting them online this time.
For all your government information, firstgov.gov.
Oh, what have we got here? Sometimes you feel tired. You can't seem to lose those extra pounds off your midsection. And your joints hurt when you take the stairs. Well, you're getting older. But I'm happy to say that there's some simple things we can do to keep you happy and healthy for years to come. We can also lower your risk for some serious diseases the older population is often subject to. Proper nutrition is more important than ever. Your body has changed, not as many treats. A basic exercise plan, lots of walks and fresh air, and most importantly, come and see me for twice-yearly checkups to help ensure the best possible quality of life. Now, how does that sound? Good boy.
Improve the quality of life for your elderly pet. Schedule twice-yearly checkups that include preventive care and regular lab work. a message from the veterinary members of the American Animal Hospital Association.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States, looking around the globe in 143 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices that are making a difference in the 21st century. We're talking about the Solar Decathlon, and those are involved in this. This is a 2-year process. Takes great involvement. And what we're going to find out about the team is here with us. The first place finisher in the decathlon actually had 4 colleges within the University of Maryland, and we can say hoorah for those folks. And we're just really glad to have them here. And this is a fully functioning house, and we're going to introduce it. So I'm going to use my notes here because with 3 people, it's a little bit to do grace over. Amy Gardner, who is AIA lead, AP, associate professor, Solar Decathlon, principal investigator. I want to investigate that title. I love that. And then we have Scott next, and he is the student team leader in environmental science at the University of Maryland. And then we have David Daly, who is in engineering, and he was a Solar Decathlon team leader. And welcome to all 3 of you. Glad to have you here. Amy, tell us about this, what is this called? Principal Investigator as a title at the University of Maryland? And then we'll get into the decathlon. I'm intrigued by this title.
It's a common title for a faculty member who's the lead on a grant. And the Department of Energy grant has a principal investigator.
That's fantastic. I love this, and I like what you're doing. And we have this slide up here. Tell us just give us a quick overview, Amy, of what we're looking at here as far as your house is concerned, and then we'll get Scott and David involved.
Well, this is a view of the house from the northwest, and it shows the ways in which the house and the landscape. It shows the way in which the house and the landscape are joined.
Sorry.
The main ideas for the house, the main ideas for the project for Watershed included that the building and the site are joined as a system, and they're joined as a system through water, the way that water is collected, captured, used, and reused. And this view of the house shows that very clearly, that the house, the landscape, the living systems, as we call them, are all unified.
And Scott's going to talk about that in a little bit, and I just think this is it's a beautiful home. And we have so much surface water around Washington, D.C. As we know, this was built, in essence, on a swamp. So we have a lot of rivers. We're near the Chesapeake Bay and right on out to the Atlantic Ocean. So, Scott, in looking at this theme as far as water, why did you want to take water and not solar as in decathlon or wind or some other element, but water?
Well, we still obviously did solar because of the Solar Decathlon, but we wanted to think about the broader spectrum of water. With the excess pollutants that are running off into the Chesapeake Bay every day, we wanted to kind of take that on a residential scale and say, how can we reduce that amount of pollutants that are being sent to the Chesapeake Bay? So with this, we're kind of capturing those pollutants on site, filtering them through a natural filtration process with these wetlands, with the green roof, and all natural processes that happen every day, just to help make the environment better. So all these systems are living. It happens in Chesapeake Bay. So
yeah, it's a very organic situation playing on that, and really that's what it is. And David, looking at the design of this, I like the very openness of this, this almost like a wing reaching into the sky as far as allowing in natural light. Tell us a little bit about the design and how do you as a team, because I know it's more than 3 of you that are involved in this. You had, I understand, 4 colleges across the university. So tell us a little bit about how you develop this team and come up with a unified design.
Well, that is a big challenge. Communication is a very large issue, but it's something that we managed to tackle. And, just designing based off core principles that we all follow. There's really not one person making design. There's a lot of people doing research, working together, collaborating. But our design principles are really what gave us this house and gave us this strong concept that we used.
Well, Amy, looking at this natural garden that you have here, if we can center the slide that we have here, looking at this, I know that actually went beyond just the runoff issues and trying to keep the pollutants and the velocity of the water going into the Anacostia and the Potomac rivers and out in the Chesapeake Bay, but also you wanted to use this as far as the cooling system for the house as well. How did all this mesh together? And how much is natural and how much is mechanicals on these houses?
Wow, how much time do we have?
Well, about 7 minutes left. So.
Gosh, I think I'm going to let David tackle some of that.
Oh, okay. That'd be great.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different aspects that went into all the mechanical systems. That's kind of what I focused on, whereas all the engineering.
Ah, so you're the instigator of all this. Okay. Well, then Amy did the right thing.
But again, with collaboration, we worked with the architects and the living systems groups to kind of find the technologies that best fit the form that we wanted to go with, and we investigated different ways that we could recapture water, especially with the gray water, the house that produces water that's not necessarily completely dirty can still be reused and filtered out. So just by integrating all the different components, we really came up with this.
Now, looking at this is a beautiful scene. So let's stay here for just a minute, David, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We're looking at this balance between all natural systems and the mechanicals. That's different technologies and products. Was there any one area of that where you wanted to have a special emphasis, or how did you really want to balance out the all-natural with mechanical systems, which really do take some kind of energy? If you're producing it by solar, it still takes a system to produce the power to use it.
That's true. Again, we use solar to provide the power for that, but a lot of it, I mean, it's completely natural for the most part. It comes from the sun. Scott is the one that really developed what we're looking at right now, and he can definitely tell you that you were using the sun's energy to do a significant amount of the work.
Now, Scott, well, then let's go to that. Looking at this, it's very ingenious how you actually incorporated the natural plants and all that into the architecture, the curb appeal, if you will, of this house. And so, and being able, again, to balance this, because I really want to drive down in this thing with natural and mechanical systems. How do you really come up with this balance so that people watching around the globe, because this is something worldwide they're really interested in, because in many countries they just don't have the funds to invest in many mechanical systems, or they don't have the power to use. And so having something like what you have, it's all natural, is really very important.
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of make that balance stronger on the natural side, so we kind of get that point across. But with that, we had the green roof. The green roof helps to retain that stormwater on site, and it also helps to add a thermal mass to the roof, so you have to condition the space inside less. So it's a big money saver. We also have the green walls. They help to use the sun's energy instead of being absorbed into the walls. So they actually protect the house and reduce the latent load from the sun.
Now let's bring up this slide so it's the central focus in all this. Now tell us exactly what is, we hear this all the time, people throw these terms around, green roof. What really is a green roof?
Well, our green roof, I think there's a picture of it at the end, but it's pretty much, it was a tray system. It was about 2.5 inches of soil media on top of another 3 inches of a type of gravel, so it was 5.5 inches total. So with that, there's the plants that are on the roof are sedum. They're pretty much from the desert, so they can go extended periods of time without having any rain or any irrigation like that.
So they can withstand the heat, but at the same time they can absorb the water and then again cut the velocity, as well as heavy metals and other things that are coming out from the air and the water.
Right. And the system we tried to put on, or the system we did put on, it's the lightest system on the market right now, one of the lightest systems. So it can be put on any residential house without any structural improvements.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. So
this is something, it's something that's commercially available. Any can be put on any home. So.
And I like what you did as far as the University of Maryland house, where you're trying to use off-the-shelf technologies, but yet still push the technology. And Amy, looking at these houses, the interior, I mean, this is just really a very gorgeous house. And again, it was functioning, so they had to do the meals and the wash and the drying and all these other kinds of things. So in the design, how do you think that the students were able to bring out something this attractive, but at the same time make it very functional?
I think that David hit it right on the head, that our team started at about 200 people, and by the time we were through the process, we had a core team of about 30. And the process of honing in on what are the guiding principles is a team effort. It involves a lot of consensus building and a lot of collaboration. And so almost every decision gets vetted across several teams. For instance, you can see in the previous slides, the previous images, the high windows where the roof slopes up. Well, this is a decision that involves the architecture and the engineering teams as far as what is the energy consumption necessary to accommodate for the glazing, what light qualities are offered so we can design the lighting. And so every team needs to be able to buy into every decision, from the big scale to the detail scale. And again, the guiding principles of the project help each team tune their efforts towards the guiding principles. So it keeps each team from working episodically and individually.
And what you're doing too, I would assume, is that you're working together. This is by consensus, so some people don't get voted off the island, so to speak, in what they're doing, but work through it, look at the details, look at the technology, and also the natural environment of that, and then bring this balance.
Yes.
And that takes good leadership on your part. As principal investigator, I'm going to keep going back to this. I love this title. This is a great title. Going back to the green roof, Scott, evidently you're the genius for the green roof. Tell us what we're looking at here, and I want to go back to this where we're not actually adding extra loading to the structure of the house, so it can be incorporated anyone who wants to do it. And then I'm going to push this to David with another follow-up question, and we're almost done. We have about a minute left, so we'll be quick.
Well, this picture is showing what was actually on top of the roof, the green roof that we had. The total, it was about 350 square feet. So it was a tray system. Since we did have to build the house, take it apart, build it again, and take it apart, and we'll put it back together again. It had to be easy to kind of take off and put back on.
So that's why you want to use off-the-shelf technologies and all that. Can you incorporate the solar, wind in this kind of green roof design, David?
Absolutely. We did separate the two, but really, you can utilize both spaces. Solar needs to face south. With the sedums, they can face pretty much any direction. So as long as you utilize your south facing, you're good with solar.
Well, obviously, this was a very popular house, and Amy, that comes back to you. We have about 10 seconds. What would you like to leave with the audience?
Well, we do these projects because it's the way to solve big problems. That the only way to solve big problems is to get many people of many disciplines together and work together.
And thank you for being with us on the Emerald Planet.
This year, 28,000 Americans will be diagnosed with oral cancer. Every year, 7,000 Americans die of oral cancer.
I'm Eva Cohen, and I'm an oral cancer survivor. I didn't fit the profile. I didn't smoke or drink. I had no family history of cancer. No family history of cancer. I was 31 years old. 31 years old. I went to see my dentist about a sore in my mouth that wouldn't heal. It was oral cancer. I had to have a radical neck dissection and a portion of my tongue reconstructed. I didn't know if I was going to live or die.
I'm Surgeon General Richard Carmona. The survival rate for oral cancer is only 50%. Oral cancer can happen to anyone. If you have a sore or lesion in your mouth that doesn't heal within 2 weeks, see your dentist. Early detection is the key.
Early detection saves lives. I know.
1 in 8 Americans goes hungry. One idea helped change that. A community started a garden that blossomed into farmers markets. 1 in 6 children lives in poverty. One group of women found an answer by opening a daycare center that their neighbors could afford. Today, 36 million Americans live in poverty. But one by one, people are helping themselves and each other to change the picture of poverty to one of hope. For easy ways you can help, visit povertyusa.org.
2 words for you. Pop quiz. Ready? Name any funny movie. A drama. Name a mystery. And one more thing. Name the movie your kids saw today in science class.
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school. And know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we look around the globe for the 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the products, the services, and the people that are making a difference in the 21st century. We're focused on the solar decathlon, and that has a little bit of different connotation to it. And but we have a competition. It's global in nature, and where universities are competing to develop actual functioning homes. And you're going to be seeing some of these as we're going through the segments for this particular program. And I have seated beside me Richard King, who is the Director, United States Department of Energy for the Solar Decathlon. And we're getting ready to bring up the second place winner out of the 20 teams. This is Purdue University. And I just want to see if our Skype is on, where they're going to be coming to us by Skype. And Team Purdue, are you here?
Yep, we're here.
All right, welcome. Glad to have you on Emerald Planet Television.
Thank you very much for having us.
And I'm going to be introducing William Bill Hutzel, Associate Professor. Bill, can you wave at us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Lee Casey, who is the controls designer on the Solar Decathlon, graduate student, mechanical engineering. Can you raise your hand? There you go. And then Kevin Rodgers, who is the project manager, graduate student, mechanical engineering. And all three are Purdue University. We're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
I'm going to start off, Bill, tell us a little bit about how you were able to assemble the team that you had and why the different disciplines that you put together. And we're going to bring up the first slide about your home, and we'll have those going in the background as we all chat. So if we can bring up the first slide. And Bill, tell us a little bit about your team.
One of the challenges that we
together.
immediately faced is Purdue doesn't have a College of Architecture. So I'm in a College of Technology, so we've got great practical expertise in terms of how to construct homes and how to do some of the practical designs. But we immediately went out and recruited students and faculty in 6 different colleges. So we had College of Engineering, College of Agriculture, we had students in management and hospitality. We even had students in science and the College of Science involved as well. But that's the big kind of multidisciplinary team that you need.
Well, I tell you, I think, Bill, that's really commendable that you're bringing in all the different colleges. Purdue University is quite famous in the United States and, of course, abroad. And to have that many colleges participating, that really says something about your leadership and your ability to bring disparate disciplines together to create something that actually is a functioning house. So, Lee, coming to you, looking at this structure, what about the controls? And as you may have heard, we were talking about the University of Maryland about this balance between nature and mechanical systems.
Well, we just wanted to go with something that was easy to use, user-friendly, and more or less right off the shelf that anybody could put in their home today.
Now, let me bring up this next slide so we can be showing these off if we can. And Lee, looking at it, how were you able to do the research, and how many people were involved with you as far as the controls and the mechanical systems you're using in this home?
We actually had a class dedicated to designing the mechanical systems, and I actually had at my disposal class of undergraduates that helped me come up with the design of the controls. So we each broke into groups and made different designs, and then I kind of filtered through that and came up with the final design. Worked with some industry professionals here on campus, as well as Professor Bill Hutzel here.
Well, Kevin, looking at what you're doing, this is really a very nice home. I know that you're trying to share the Midwestern style and materials, also in a sense, Midwestern values, which are very important and very precious to the communities that you're serving through Purdue University. What are kind of the considerations that you looked at in being sure to meet the demands of the Midwest, but to have something else that actually could be used universally?
Well, that's, when we were originally designing it, we want people to be able to walk into our home and feel at home. And so we want them to be not really changing the way how they were living. And the ultimate goal of us was, if you have broad appeal for a type of house, that's going to be more widely adopted than anything else. So in the end, you'll have a larger impact on energy use in the future. And while we're designing this home, we also had a location here in Lafayette, Indiana, for the permanent location for our house. So we had a neighborhood picked out already, so we were kind of designing toward that style in that neighborhood.
Okay, so you want to have something that is going to be, in a sense, on the cutting edge as far as technology, the balance of nature, but also something that people from within the community surrounding the university could walk in and say, yes, I could live here. Is that the idea?
That's right. They just be very familiar to them when they walked in.
Let's bring up this next slide, and I'd like to keep these slides up if we can so that we can move through these, because I think this is just really attractive home. And Bill, sitting beside me is Richard King. I know that I'm sure the two of you had many interactions over the 2 years. So I'm going to let him come in and ask a question about your home and your participation in the solar decathlon.
Great.
We had a new contest this year, which was affordability. You had to keep your house under $250,000. You came in third place, yet you outperformed most of all the other teams. What was the key to your success? Because I'm sure all the homeowners would love to know, how did you stay so affordable?
We bucked convention a bit, I think, by using off-the-shelf components. So we had a high-performing, off-the-shelf central air conditioning system, and everything in the home. The students did a good job with their research, but it was off-the-shelf equipment that ended up performing very well. So as much as anything, students did their homework.
Well, and that's the whole thing about this too, Bill, and then going on to Lee Casey as far as the controls and the technology of all this. How did you balance the demands that you have of all the modern technologies, but yet have a home that's going to be totally off-grid and going to be functioning with solar power?
Like I said, there was tons of people involved in this, and we just started whittling away at it and trying to figure out how do we make this a reality. So, we didn't get to do some of the really advanced technologies that we would like to, but it worked out for us that it helped us keep the budget down and keep the house in functioning home, and that's what the goal was.
So, for example, one of the things the students learned early on is that a solar thermal system, while many would have them on their home for hot water, we felt it'd be an advantage to have an all-electric home and take advantage of a hot water heat pump. So, and that ended up working very well, and that was a few teams had done that, but not many.
Kevin, looking at being the project manager, I know you tried to balance out. You had all the different colleges within university involved, so you're using engineering and architecture, but also you had business and communications and others involved in this. How did you incorporate representatives from these other colleges so that they may not be necessarily helping with the design of the house or the technical aspects, but keeping it within the cost constraints and also to make sure that it was very energy efficient?
Now, we had basically a manager group. It was about 13 students that were from all across campus, and we'd have weekly meetings and sit down and talk about issues. And we really broke up the design of the home into different areas. So some of it was classes just devoted to the solar decathlon. Others were classes that were already existing that did just small projects in their class. So it was really just walking across campus. Those managers would meet with those students in those classes and make sure that everything was headed in the right direction.
Bill, looking at, since you're associate professor in the College of Technology, Department of Mechanical Engineering, That's a somewhat of a narrow niche, but growing because of the demands for new and more modern and energy efficient systems, not only in the United States but around the globe. How were you able to communicate with the leadership of the other 5 colleges you're involved with to make sure that they stayed involved? Because 2 years, that's a long time when you look at assembling a team and trying to keep them together to go through the whole contest.
It's just the type of project that captured people's imagination. And realistically, it wasn't just the colleges. We had support from the facilities on campus and the development office to help us with the fundraising. And I guess I would say the job on my part was quite easy. I initiated the contact and maintained communication. But again, this contest is one that people viewed as important and interesting and compelling enough that the project really took on a life of its own before too long.
Lee, looking at this, we have about 2 minutes left. Take a little bit of time and tell us what some of the important lessons that you learned that's going to carry you through your professional career.
Well, it was interesting being a grad student. I've gone through undergrad and you have courses and you do the homework, but coming into a project like this, I really got to work with a lot of different people from all over campus. Just like Bill said, the physical facilities department here on campus helped out a lot, and I actually worked with them. So it was interesting to work in the office, in the classroom, on the job site with people from all different professions. I know more about interior design now than I probably would have ever known had I just had class here.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And Kevin, of course, being the project manager, you really did have to hold sway over everything that was going on. And you have so many different personalities and so many different technical skills being contributed to this. What did you learn as far as the psychology of managing such a long-term but complex project?
I guess trust. You have to make sure you have talented people working with you. Our manager group, I trust each one of them to take on their responsibilities. And also, like you say, each person is different. So, just making sure that if someone has an issue, deal with them properly. Lee's a pretty good character here. So
2 years ago when we wrote the proposal, we kind of laughed a bit that the section of the proposal talked about conflict resolution and how you would deal with unexpected eventualities. And in hindsight, that we should have made that section of the proposal a little bit bigger. Not that we had a lot of dissension, but there's a lot of strong opinions as you work on a project like this.
Well, the last slide we have in here is the announcement of you guys coming in second place. And it looks like you just won a major football game. And so, Bill, about 10 seconds. What was the feeling to actually come in second in this global competition?
Relief, surprise, a great sense.
Every emotion. Well, thank you for being with us, and as we create the Emerald Planet.
There's more than just books at the library.
There's more than just books at the library.
Excuse me.
There's more than just books at the library.
Il y a plus que de livres à la bibliothèque.
Hello. You have a lot of great books here today. You know there's more than just books at the library.
I know.
There's more than just books at the library.
I don't want to be hooked to a machine.
I want all the medical treatment available to me.
I wouldn't want my family to have to make this decision.
My doctor knows what's best for me.
An advance directive is your life on your terms. Talk with your family. Decide what's right for you. Then put it in writing.
Documenting my wishes today means my family won't have to make heart-wrenching decisions later.
To learn more, visit www.putitinwriting.org.
1,200 American youth run away from their homes every day. The National Runaway Switchboard is here to help. 1-800-RUNAWAY. If you are a runaway, Thinking about running away from home, or a parent or guardian concerned about issues facing your child, call us 24 hours a day. 1-800-RUNAWAY. In times of crisis, hope is just a phone call away. 1-800-RUNAWAY.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we're looking around the globe in 143 different nations, looking for those best practices that can be used for energy efficiency, for new housing stock, and a way to cut energy consumption around the globe. We're coming to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States, and we're coming on to how we can actually enhance and improve the quality of life of now over 7 billion citizens that are living on the planet. And so through the Solar Decathlon, Richard King is sitting beside me. He is the director for the Solar Decathlon for the United States Department of Energy. And we're getting ready to welcome to us by Skype the New Zealand Victoria University in Wellington. And is everyone there in Wellington and New Zealand?
Sure are.
Hello. G'day.
Welcome. And Guy Marriage, it's good to say hello to you again, even though you're a few miles away from us in Washington, D.C.
Hi there.
Glad to have you back with us. And then we have Ben Jurgensman and Nick Officer. Both of these are graduate students in the College of Architecture, and welcome.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Guy, we have some photographs we're going to be showing throughout this of the house. These were taken through the Department of Energy here in Washington, D.C. But I just want to get into, that's a long way off, 2 years investment. Shipping and just everything is involved. Why did you want to get involved in the Solar Decathlon when you had to move people and materials all the way to Washington, D.C. in the United States?
I think it was just a great opportunity that we wanted to take. We know the importance of solar power and the way that it's growing throughout the world, and so that was a really important thing to try and bring to New Zealand and bring our entry into America. And it didn't really matter that it was far away. It was just such a great competition to be able to be in that we thought it was important that we were there.
Well, I think it was very important, and it was a great pleasure to stop by the house and meet you and some of the other faculty members and some of the students involved. And Ben, tell us a little bit about what you learned through this process. Not only just about the house and all the mechanics and the solar power, but what you need to learn as a graduate student that's going to help you as you move forward into the future.
I think one of the biggest learning curves for us was getting the practical experience involved with designing and also building a house that you had been designed through a university program. It was a great chance to see your designs in real life, which is a unique experience for an architectural student or an engineering student at the university. So that was really exciting and a good learning curve for myself and for the rest of the team.
Well, Nick, I know you come from a very beautiful country. I've actually traveled throughout New Zealand, North and South Islands. It's absolutely fantastic. And I love the way you incorporated just kind of the feeling and the natural ambiance of your country actually into something that's about 1,000 square feet. So what were some of the design parameters that you were looking at culturally and geographically that really made this a unique house and exhibited the nation of New Zealand?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest challenges of the competition is that we are competing against 20 other universities from around the US and around the world, and everyone brings their own little part of the world with them. And that's really what sets us apart from everyone else. And for us, being so far away,
maybe we live a different lifestyle, and that was something that we really wanted to bring to the US and show our way of life, and that living the way we do is green as well. So it was using our land and our focus on socialization, our focus on our people and our friends and our family, and using the land and the resources available to us.
Well, if I can just follow on, Nick, with you, since you really raised this as far as bringing every aspect of New Zealand life and culture and background into it. Were there elements of the very rich Maori culture that you have in New Zealand that you felt like was exhibited and displayed throughout the entry from New Zealand?
We never really put a focus on that specifically. It's a way of life in New Zealand. I think we all live in this country and all live together. We're a multicultural country, and I think we really do live together in the same sort of way. So it was never really a focus on making it about one style of architecture or one style of culture, but about all living together.
It's just blended and holistic, and that's really a great answer to that. Guy, looking at the technologies and the processes that you're using, what are some of the more advanced technologies that may be used that you found from looking at the other 19 competitors that may be unique to New Zealand, actually could be used and incorporated into houses from Canada, from Belgium, from China, and other areas around the United States?
Well, that's a good question. Our house was pretty advanced for a New Zealand house, even though it was quite a small house. It's the technologies and the control systems that Ben put in place were probably some of the more extensive for a house in New Zealand. It's more advanced in many ways than most houses in New Zealand. So it was pretty advanced in itself. But then for us to be able to see the other teams and their solutions to the same problems that they had was really interesting for us. I think also that being able to go around and the other teams to see their houses was great. We didn't have as much time as we would have liked, really, to have been able to really explore the other teams, and because we were busy running the competition in our house. But there were certainly some solutions on other teams that really blew us away. It was very interesting to note how other projects had conquered the same problems. Big problem for us, of course, was prefabrication, because we had so long to come. So we had to get be able to pack our house up to come by sea 8,700 miles, which is a pretty long way. And so our house had to be designed in a particular way that other houses, if they were only coming by land, may not have had to have the same problems.
Well, and also too, just by the area on the Earth where you are, logistically, that is a real challenge for anything coming in and out of New Zealand. But obviously, you did a very good job. You came in third place out of all the teams. And as you know, Richard King, the director for the Solar Decathlon, is sitting with me. And so Richard has a question for your team as well.
Well, you certainly made your country proud of you, and you did a fantastic job. The ambassador to the United States invited you over to the New Zealand embassy while you were here, and he mentioned that you auctioned your house and sold it to a lady in New Zealand. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we did. We were pretty lucky in that we had an opportunity to build our house here in New Zealand before we came over. And because of that, we had almost 20,000 people visit our house, and it sparked a lot of interest. So we thought we'd jump on top of that interest, and we put it to auction to see how it would go. And there was a bit of a battle. Eventually it was sold. It currently doesn't have a site yet. It's coming back, hopefully, to the coast of New Zealand, somewhere down in the South Island. I think it's still on a boat back from America at the moment, but it was really great for us to be able to sell the house before, and we've certainly had a lot of interest post the competition as well.
Ben, looking at the house and the fact that you actually have one of your citizens of the country is going to be living in the structure that you designed and built, and then I assume will be constructing that on site there in New Zealand. What are some of the care and issues that you're looking at for this house long term, so that your countrymen will really have the best, most energy efficient house possible?
Well, I think we looked at a lot of those ideas when we were designing the home. So although we were designing the house for a 10-day period in Washington, D.C., throughout the design process, we made sure that we designed a home that would perform just as efficiently in a New Zealand climate. So we did extensive, simulation and monitoring of a New Zealand climate versus the DC climate for that 10-day period. So I think it's been optimized for both. And so when it does come back to New Zealand, it's going to maintain a really healthy and comfortable internal environment. It'll generate as much energy as it needs, so it will maintain a net zero energy performance. And we would love to be involved with the construction process of the house when it does come back to New Zealand, so that Susan, has a beautiful home that she can live in for the rest of her life, hopefully.
Well, I tell you, this is just an absolutely beautiful home, and the materials that you use. And Guy, I think you need to be very proud of that. And Richard certainly is giving kudos to your university there in Wellington. And I personally know the New Zealand ambassador. He's a member of my Rotary Club, so we have a chance to have lunch together a couple of times a month. And he was very enthusiastic about all of this. But looking at and we only have about a minute left, so in about 60 seconds, what are the lessons learned for the students and the faculty at your university?
The huge amount of lessons learned. Both, I think, a practical experience, obviously, for all the students involved, and for the wider students in the university. That was really important. Huge amount of new knowledge created, both for staff, for the students, and also for the wider New Zealand community. So the fact that we can have a solar-powered house that can be done and can be run quite happily, and that it's comfortable inside, all these things wrap up. So we're very pleased with the information learned.
Well, I want to see if we can put up this last slide. This is being announced of your place as far as the solar decathlon. Hopefully we can put this up. But it looks like you just won the World Rugby match in this photograph. So there's a lot of excitement among faculty and students there in New Zealand. And we certainly appreciate you joining us all the way by Skype. That's a long distance. I know you had to get up early in the morning to be with us. And we really thank the viewers as we've traveled around the world looking at the solar decathlon through the United States Department of Energy. Richard, thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.